Hey traders, I'm here, MaxNet's commentator at Global Prime Forex. In this video, I want to demonstrate the sheer amount of data, of information and insights that you can pull out of any chart, as long as obviously you have the experience and you're going to be looking at this chart through the right lenses. Now, one of the charts that has everybody in disbelief, well, not everybody, but certainly a big share of the market, is Ethereum against BTC. BTC is commonly known as a store of value coin. It is the king of all the cryptos out there, yet Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin consistently for almost 2 months. This chart is an example, or these couple of charts, the weekly and the daily time scales, are going to be a great example of the type of information that I am able to pull just by looking at the charts and interpreting data, volume, and just a few other tiny components. But for the most part, this is going to be a naked exercise from my side in order to really distill, break it down, and eventually make and come up with a better informed decision. Okay, so let's get started. What type of story the market here in Ethereum versus Bitcoin is telling us? For that, we are going to first of all dive into the weekly chart. Now, the first thing that I'm observing in this chart is that Ethereum keeps cutting through like a hot knife through butter, levels of resistance and projected areas as well, symmetrically speaking. What does this mean? It means that momentum is extremely strong. Let me give you an example of the type of resistance areas that have been overcome with ease. This one was the first. This one appears to be now the second that is being broken. This was a 100% projection target away from this. Let me see if I can draw this one from this bracketed area right here. Now, what else the chart is telling us? Let me move my screen to the other side. Well, this rise has occurred with increasing volume. You can tell that if I'm zooming the chart and I am making this pane a little bit bigger, you will notice that ever since this bottom right here, we have seen volume that is increasing. This is to me a clear communication that there is a rise in commitment by the buyers. It's not like we are rising and volume is tapering off, and that obviously is suggesting that sooner or later there's going to be some type of exhaustion in this market. That is not occurring in Ethereum against the BTC, and that only reinforces and sustains this narrative that this market really carries a lot of bullish momentum behind. Okay, and now it looks one more data that we can extract from this weekly chart. It looks like the Ethereum is on its merry way to print 7 weeks in a row of gains versus BTC. This is something I gotta say that was not seen. It's not been seen since January 2018, since the collapse of Bitcoin that eventually led to the washout of the retail traders and the eventual decay of the crypto market. We enter winter season for the most part of the next 2 to 2.5 years. Okay, so that's another data point that is very relevant for you to get out of this weekly chart. Now, I'm going to be shifting gears into the daily because it really gets better. So what else can we learn out of this daily chart now? Getting a little bit more granular. Well, sellers have been unable to pull off more than 2 days of down candles for over 60 candles. We're talking about 2 months at least worth of data. Remember, cryptos do not close over the weekend, and therefore we should be accounting every single week with 7 days and around roughly 30 days on average, that you're going to be trading cryptos per month. So that is about 60 to 65 candles, and not even one set of candles that has gone down for more than 2 down days in a row. That's again very impressive and is a testament of how strong this market has been to the upside. Up next, it is a market that it is featuring a very repetitive behavior in each and every pullback that we are seeing. And let me explain what I mean here. So ever since this consolidation, since this base and eventual breakout, notice the percentage of pullback that we are getting. Very consistent, around the 6 to 7%. Notice this one, even this very compressed box was about 6.6%. So we're talking within this box of 6 to 7%, give or take obviously a few decimals. Next one, it is a 6.37% retracement before the next pull up. Up next, this consolidation led to a pullback of 6.62%. Next up, we had a period of consolidation that only lasted about 3 days, and we had again a 7% pullback. And then this is not over, because in just the last week we had a period of yet again no more than 3 to 4 days of consolidation before the eventual breakout, and that was yet again a pullback of 6.6%. So what is this telling you? Ethereum against Bitcoin, every single time that goes through a minor pullback, because there's going to be some profit taking, there is going to be some type of order clusters that are going to be preventing the continuous vertical rise of this market. Buyers are going to be ready, are going to be regrouping, and are going to be heavily buying this market on the dip, and that tends to occur around the 6 to 7% mark on each and every pullback. So something to be very aware of. Next, every time that there's been a new push higher, it tends to average gains of about 20%. What is this really telling us about the current leg up? That's also something that you should be asking yourself. And let me tell you something. Ever since this consolidation that eventually broke out, as I said before, 17%, that then was followed by a 9%, so a bit more paltry returns there. Then up next, 20 to 21%. Up next, 34%. So what can we do? We can actually average these rises, and it would give us approximately a 20% average gains every single time that Ethereum BTC goes into new price discovery phase in 2021. Therefore, we could be speculating that the gains of 20 to 25% would not be unrealistic at all. And if we actually match this rise with about a 25% gain, notice where we're going. We are going to the next 100% symmetrical projection, which is going to be coming around 0.08 round number. So that's what I'm expecting the next target for Ethereum against BTC to be met. All right, but there is more. Okay, it really gets better when it comes to extracting all these insights out of a naked chart. Okay, now look at the momentum. This momentum has been so strong that out of a period that gets to be derived of a Fibonacci number, a short 10 Fibonacci number, the likes of the 8 period. So once we actually add a very reactive, very responsive moving average like the 8 period exponential, I'm not even talking about the simple, but the exponential moving average, the price has been unable to close below the 8 period exponential moving average ever since we broke this consolidation phase back in late March. That is something very, very impressive. Makes you scratch your head of how strong this momentum has truly been. Now it gets even better. Why is that? Because notice the last candle that has been printed. Well, we're talking about the candle on Monday, May the 10th. What do you notice about this candle? This candle aggregated big volume activity, as you can tell here through Binance Spot Market. Whenever this happens, we actually tend to see that this forms a solid anchor or a solid base from which the market will continue to push into that direction, the direction of the trend. Let me give you a few examples. Notice here that, and let's see if I can get a vertical line. Notice here that we had a big move in so a big spike in volume, and then we eventually see follow through. Obviously it's going to be pretty easy and fitting for me to talk about this trend because it has only going to one direction. So any candle is eventually going to lead to that directional movement, but I want to make a point across, and for that I'm also going to be drawing some comparisons of all the periods in the chart when we are trending in the opposite direction or in a different phase altogether. Okay, so as you can notice here, every single spike in volume tends to then see within that candle buyers coming on that dip and supporting the eventual resumption of the trend. It happened in that one, it happened in this one, it's happened also in this minor pullback. Eventually we continue to move in that direction. But as we actually move into any other phase, notice that whenever we actually have these candles with strong volume behind, right here we are gonna get those sellers on a pullback, as it was the case in the next candle. Whenever we have this candle again happening, notice here there was a big volume above the average, you will notice that there is that follow through. Let's see if we can find another one right here. Actually, it didn't take just a couple of candles right after. Notice this candle, it was very elongated, so eventually we're gonna get those sellers returning and pushing prices lower. So that's what I wanted to point out as well, that this previous candle alone, it's only reinforcing the notion that this market will be pulled, will be pushed into this favor, into this preferred bullish direction. Okay, now from this behavior, can you or can you not make a better informed decision? I hope you can. Now, this chart alone is going to be portraying huge amounts of information, and it's going to be up to you to decide how much you want to welcome as part of your decision making process. What is clear to me is that by conducting this type of analysis, it leads me to understand the chart of Ethereum against BTC in a better way. It is a mine of information, any naked chart. Remember, as I said before, that at the end of the day, we have a chart here that displays prices, and prices in turn are going to be formed due to emotions, either rational or irrational, from people and the perception of future valuations. I hope that this analysis has been of help to you. If so, remember, smash like and comment in the video below. Until the next video, it's bye for me. Cheers.